What's up, Stitt-Heads? Crack it open. We're back in it. We're gonna have some fun today. Another Talking Stitt, another shit talking episode as usual. But we're gonna focus on some real stuff because it actually is what allows us to do these things is our First Amendment, our freedom of speech, and it's being encroached upon every single day, every administration. It's this tit for tat horse shit kind of cycle that we use their tactics back against them now that we have power. Meanwhile, everybody's just basically agreeing to choke me harder, daddy government. So, anyways, welcome back, returning guest, SlyFoxx. How you doing today, brother?
Oh, always good pleasure. Always good to be back.
Hell yeah, man. So you being up in the Chi-Town area, Chicago area, like man, you guys got a little bit of crazy stuff going on up there all the time too. And whether it's gun stuff or, taking away rights or shootings and things. And it's an interesting world. It's like, I'm wearing a shirt right here. It says come and take it with an AR-15. What are your thoughts on Pritzker saying recently that what was I'm going to paraphrase the quote, but basically, like, we've done a good job of cleaning up crime in Chicago. So, we need to implement a national gun ban. Have you seen that quote?
Yeah, I saw that. And so about a year and a half ago, almost 2 years ago at this point, I actually went to the Illinois State Police hearing on our gun ban before it got ratified. So I got 3 minutes to speak, and I spoke there, and it was one of the things that I had noted was the crime statistics from the point where they signed it in and to the point where I spoke, and I'd cited there was like 1,000 some odd charges from people that getting caught with guns that were banned after our gun ban started. Like 900 incidences with like assault rifles that they were quote unquote assault rifles that were confiscated after the ban from people that weren't supposed to have them in the first place. So and I asked them like, well, these are all examples of our gun laws not working. So if we're adding more to it, it's clearly not having an effect. The only thing we did was hinder the person who lives here legally. They hindered our ability to defend ourselves. Now, when I asked the Illinois State Police Commissioner about that, I was like, okay, well, that kind of keeps us from being able to choose what we want to defend ourselves with, and they don't see it that way. They see it as, well, you can still own guns, just not the ones that we tell you you can't. Nobody's saying you can't own them, but we're saying you can't have these certain kinds.
Well, and that's the slippery slope of it all too, is what they're stipulating now is the ones that you can have and can't have. Every time you take a little more away, then eventually those will be the next step, and then it'll be, just a few things that you're left with at this point. It'll be your fucking great great grandpa's Revolutionary War flintlock fucking rifle. It's like
Yeah,
I mean, that's like how England is, like go watch the movie Hot Fuzz, the comedy movie, but it's like they
that's a
go,
good one.
yeah, the old farmer guy that's got the heavy ass accent they can't
Yep.
understand. And he's got just this one, got the paperwork, and then he shows them an entire arsenal of other fucking guns afterward in a big ass mine. And
I mean,
it goes to the point of like, well, if they can keep taking, they're not going to stop taking.
no, and they're not. And Illinois is a prime example for that. We've had some pretty strict gun laws over the years, and every time we add to it, it just restricts the people. They have recently added that you can't carry a gun on the CTA. Okay, if it's a concealed firearm, you can't tell I have it anyway. So who cares? Who are these laws really for? Because they don't want us to start shooting people that try to rob us on the CTA. Because
Hmm.
that happens all the time. If you're on the red line late, past 10 o'clock, you might run into some issues.
Hmm. And we're seeing, there's this rise everywhere, man. Like I live outside of Tulsa, Oklahoma, but just on the news this week, and it's probably going to be a little bit of a bigger story, but we'll see. A man at a donut shop tried to defend this lady that was basically being attacked by this dude that had, believe, a machete, and ended up getting stabbed in the neck. And then my wife is a nurse. That was actually one of her patients, and she had him for a few days and then shift change and whatever else. But we found out yesterday the guy actually passed away. And it's like, man, we're seeing all these stabbings, shootings, attacks, whether it's the big stage like Charlie Kirk just recently, whether it's the trans shooter at the Catholic school, whether it's the shit, I forgot her name right now. The girl, the Ukrainian girl on the bus, or not the bus, the subway.
Yeah,
Like,
Subway, yeah.
it's like we're seeing it's like mass trauma events in a way, and they're fucking gaslighting us because they're telling us, well, we don't need guns, we don't need this, we live in this utopia, but every other day there's some new person just out in public minding their own business getting fucking stabbed or murdered, and we're seeing this in real time. It's like I don't know. It's weird. We're accepting this trauma and they're trying
I
to take our
I
shit
guess
away.
I guess my question to you would be, do you think that we're just seeing this when they're cherry picking stories to piss people off? Because that's what I think.
I
One of
think
my
it's both.
coworkers, one of my coworkers got really uppity about the I don't remember her name, the Ukrainian chick, after seeing the video, and I was like, okay, how you feel right now? That's what they want you to feel. You are
Hmm.
falling into it, and you're because he starts going off about, you know, we need stricter this, that, and the third. Okay, no, for one, we don't need strict or anything. That's not the way we go about this. But you are exactly falling into what they want. Their goal, these George Soros funded district attorneys, is to make America so chaotic, to make these cities so dangerous that we are begging for more control. And it's working. We have these right wing people that are cheering on ICE. I'm sorry, but I thought we were anti-government.
I know, right?
That's a government agency, you know what I mean? Like it's not it doesn't even matter. These people are illegal. You have a militarized government agency running amok,
That's what I
and it's
think.
ridiculous.
Yeah, I think you and me are right on the same page on that because I think they're cherry picking a lot of these things, like you had said at first, because they want you. They're orchestra. It's order out of chaos. It's Hegelian dialectic. It's problem reaction solution shit. They want you to see the problem, have your reaction, which is us getting pissed off or people getting scared and asking for more government overreach, and then their solution is already sitting on the table, just like the Project for New American Century and the Patriot Act and all that shit. That was already ready to go the minute the fucking chaos happened of 9/11. So same as like censorship right now, meaning back to like the Charlie Kirk thing. Let's ask your thoughts because I think they're trying to like get people comfortable with seeing military in the streets, but I want your thoughts on the whole censorship regime of what we got going on right now. Everybody asking the federal government to intervene and start firing motherfuckers.
It's a slippery slope, and I mean, I thought we just spent 4 years complaining about cancel culture to what? To just to use it. And don't get me wrong, people shouldn't be saying these things, whatever. But I, as an American, will defend your right to the death for your right to say it. You know, you may have a shitty opinion, but how much does the Constitution protect you from the repercussions from having that shitty opinion or voicing that shitty opinion?
Hmm.
You know, it's a slippery slope from freedom of speech. I want to say it was like Ice Cube or something like that that said something like, you know, yeah, I could tell you I fucked your sister, but that's not going to protect me from, you know, you punching me in the face or something. You know, like there's actions have consequences, and if the consequences is you getting fired for that opinion, it's a gray area. It also depends on the contract you sign when you go to work. Does your social media have a factor in that? Because a lot of these new age contracts with these companies, they include that as a clause to be able
Bingo.
to fire you for these kind of things.
100%, dude. That's exactly bingo. I mean, you can keep going, but yes, that's my argument on it is like I'm more libertarian in values, maybe a little more like anarchist nowadays. I don't really know, but I'm definitely not left and I'm not right. So it's like I don't if you go fucking take a job at any place, like the majority of the people, this is what's astonishing to me. The majority of the people that are getting fired for because of their posts and everything, their jobs are teachers, professors, nurses, doctors. You're like, holy shit. So these are people that are supposed to have unbiased opinions, be teaching the world or helping the world. So like my argument was like, okay, so people saying it's bullshit they got fired. Well, what if that nurse that posted that had Charlie Kirk roll in a stretcher and 5 minutes after posting that she was happy he got shot? Is that not going to affect her work if that is her
Right.
fucking patient? And now, if the employer is against those kinds of, yes, that's up to the employer. But the government, people saying like we should pass hate speech laws, and you're like, I'm not even the biggest Charlie Kirk fan, but he was still seemed like a fairly decent human being. But you're
Yeah.
like, dude, Charlie Kirk said many times that he was against the word hate speech. It's not a real fucking thing. So they're just waiting to push laws in the order of tragedy, you know?
Yeah, and that's kind of what they always do. And I kind of think it's funny. I mean, I saw somebody posted a meme, I don't remember who it was, but it really made me think. You ever notice that since the USAID got defunded, that these shooters are using like surplus guns? They're not using Daniel Defense top of the line rifles anymore. It's
Mm-hmm.
granddad's hunting rifle or granddad's antique that he got from his dad, you know, or like the back of your, you know, your back of your gun cabinet, the shit you never use.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of odd, and I think it's kind of odd that it's 8 millimeter Mauser and stuff like that, like commie shit.
Yeah, yeah, they're odd calibers for here in the States, for sure. Yeah, they're it's not the saying that they haven't been used. Yeah, Kami and sleeper cells and shit like that. But yeah, it's weird, questionable red flag types of rounds, you know.
Well, then I think that's what they're going to try to use to try to like close the loophole of antique firearms because you can buy old bolt action rifles and get it sent to your door if you got a curio and relic license.
Hmm.
It's not that hard to get if as long as you can pass some background checks and most of these people haven't been in trouble for the
I
most part and except for some like mental health issues.
I got a Remington 30-06 with a scope on it, bolt action right there in my, safe in the same room I'm sitting in. It's like, yeah, they're the guns that wouldn't be your first self-defense item, but you got a point where maybe that's their like now's their time to strike on those type of like your grandpa's guns, the hunting rifles, like you see an M14 and it's the joke where you'll show it with like a wood stock and you're like, "Oh, that's your grandpa's hunting rifle." And then you see it with a black composite stock and you're like, "That's an assault rifle." Or
Yep.
and it's like that's the same
Yep.
fucking gun. It's just you just made it black and now it's spooky looking.
And it's funny because that's kind of what, and I'm glad that they haven't done this yet, but the fact that it's on the books in the Protect Illinois Communities Act, which is our gun ban, it's like 10
Hmm.
pages long. There is no outline. And again, I've said this during the hearing. There's no outline in it to protect our communities. There's nothing in it about gang violence, drug, anything like that. It's literally just a breakdown of the word assault weapon. It legalized a definition for the phrase assault weapon. And it's, things like, do you need two hands to fire it? Can you keep your supporting hand, off the magazine well? Like, does it have a pistol grip? Does it have, can it take attachments? Does it have a threaded barrel? Like, there's all these stipulations, and it literally the only thing it leaves is bolt action rifles, pump action shotguns, and handguns with under 15 capacity.
Wow. Yeah.
It effectively banned everything. It's kind of ridiculous
That's insane, man. And there's still shootings every week. There's still,
every week.
a dozen murders by drive-bys or whatever every fucking weekend. And it's like rules for thee, not for me. We make rules to stop the bad guys. When the hell has a bad guy ever, paid attention to the rules? They don't.
Well, I just think it's funny too that they're focusing ICE and all these things, but we've still yet to see them take out cartel drug houses. We've still yet to see them dismantle street gangs at all.
Hmm.
And there's still massive street gangs of illegals that are like, I don't get it. And the people that keep cheering for it, I'm like, cool. I posted a meme the other day. They got like barely any traction. It was like, cool. You saved the city from the tamale lady. How do you feel? Like,
Yeah,
these aren't people that are criminals. Like, if it takes five of you in tactical gear to go to the back of a kitchen to arrest a dishwasher, you're a cuck. That's what you are.
it is 100% true. And people actually don't realize like ICE and Homeland Security and shit like that. They feel like because what was that saying that we're supposed to say after 9/11? Never forget. Most of those institutions came out directly after 9/11. These aren't
Yep.
some 50, 60, 75-year-old groups or institutions. These are still new, pretty new fucking things. And so people still just have like they've almost adapted the idea of like ICE and Homeland Security and shit like that. What's the air traffic, not air traffic control, but what's the fucking
The
air
FAA.
marshals, FAA and all that shit. Like all those things are new things that we just forgot about that they're within our lifetime. I don't know where I'm going with that, but I'm just meaning like, yeah, we've gotten comfortable allowing them to do this shit. And we're like, dude, these are new things. Somebody could get rid of these fucking things, but they don't want to. Neither side
Well,
wants
it's
to.
well, it's kind of funny because I don't remember who exactly it was. It was one of these ex government official, like intelligence guys that was on Sean Ryan, and he was talking about how the shift at the agency from the classic, global war on terror, America first, we're doing this to protect our country, whatever. That shift in patriotism went from a positive note to the police state. It went to these people that are in power now in these higher government positions that are in like the intelligence agencies. They don't have the kind of America first mentality anymore. Now all they see is it's us versus the citizens who, are going to fuck up our deal, fuck up what we're doing because
Hmm.
they're, getting into shit that we shouldn't be. And
Well,
and to have these intelligence agencies ran by people who all they knew growing up and all they knew in their careers is spying on American citizens, it's a little insane to me that they can say anything about loving freedom when you're actively working against us.
hmm. And it's a funny thing because back to the idea of like First Amendment and another thing that was announced this morning is Pete Hegseth or whatever, and fucking Trump are, I guess, going to send out National Guard to Portland, Oregon now to keep continuing this thing. And my conspiracy brain goes into the idea of like, we're trying to normalize the military in our streets. Like this almost, I'm not saying this drastic, but it's steps away. I mean, we're trying to, it can lead to what like fucking North Korea and China and shit like that is, where it has to be this like full on supremacy to the state. Because if not, you'll be ran over by a tank or you'll be shot. But I wanted to bring this up. I don't know if you saw this, but Kash Patel is working with Democrat Republican Jared Moskowitz to push censorship on Americans on social media who share conspiracy theories about Israel. So it's like all this state encroachment, all these federal overreaches, and we see this money coming in from different places as well. It's like the fucking cat's out of the bag. I don't know.
I mean, did you see that 50 states won Israel? How we had like several hundred of our representatives and stuff like that over there
Yes.
singing "We Are the World" and like that's a little odd, man. 50 states won Israel. That's like greater Israel type shit. And
Mm-hmm.
it bothers me a little bit and it baffles me how we can be so critical of Republican versus Democrat when we have APAC funding three-quarters of our fucking government. I'm
Mm-hmm.
sorry, but if you're a dual citizen, you shouldn't have a government position. And most of them have dual citizenship with Israel. That's odd, but okay, sure. But if you're accepting funding from APAC, like, did you just see Ted Cruz on Tucker Carlson when he was asking him all those questions? Oh my God,
Yes.
he destroyed him, man. It was hilarious. And then he starts using the Bible to justify defending Israel.
Tucker did it
That's
so
not how
good.
that works, man.
Yeah, he did it so good because he played
Quote it for
stupid.
me.
Wait, yeah, what verse is that again?
Yeah, quote it
Yeah,
for me.
he's like, oh, it's in Genesis, blah, blah, blah. Like, he already is a rhetorical question. He already knew you're full of
Yeah.
fucking shit. Yeah, like he did a good job on that.
Yeah, it's pretty wild to me to see that. And then Cash Patel, I don't know if you've noticed this. He went from being on Joe Rogan saying, "Oh, there's nothing there, this, that, and the third, there's no videos, da, 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 da." But the look on his face is kind of normal. But then from the point where he's actually allowed to see the Epstein documents, he looks like he just did a bunch of rails of Adderall. He's wide-eyed and he just looks scared. I mean, he's got an Israeli girlfriend or wife or whoever the fuck it
Yeah,
is.
yeah,
But it's just funny to me to see that like maybe he realized just how fucked they really are, and
yeah,
and it's they're doing everything in their power to keep it out of our reach. But like, we all already fucking know. We already know the truth of it. I mean, if you listen to Mike Ben's breakdown, just the facts, nothing, no speculation, just the facts about Epstein and who he was, it's insane. It's insane how we even have a government still standing.
yeah. And then even just on this side of the Epstein deal, like first of all, I just want to say Cash Patel looks like a pug. He looks like a pug, like you mentioned,
That you
like the
cut, he looks
eyes.
like a pug that you got caught digging in the garbage.
Yeah, he's got that like big crazy fucking, almost. But anyways, man, when you dig into the Epstein shit, it's so fucking deep because Epstein, everybody focuses on him. They forget about Ghislaine, and then they don't go any deeper than that. They just know what they're told to know from these media stories, or to keep you pissed off and keep hashtagging release the files or whatever. It's a psyop, whatever. Oh, it's a Democrat made up hoax. It's fake. Whatever, fake and gay. Yeah, there's probably some gay shit going on there. But anywho, with Ghislaine, man, you get into Robert Maxwell, her father. You get into Les Wexner, the father. Not father, but choke me harder, daddy. Probably the gay lover of Epstein. But man, Epstein was just a little fucking honeypot situation in a way. Like, I'm not diminishing it. I'm saying like Ghislaine was more in charge. She was following her father's footsteps.
Now, I'm gonna put a little bit of it to rest with where they keep saying that there was no sex trafficking operation, and
Oh,
I
I
think
think
the
there
way,
is. Yeah, go
well,
ahead.
I
But
think
yeah,
the way that they can get away with saying that, and from whatever paperwork or whatever documents they can or are not willing to release, it would be that is it really sex trafficking if they're giving you a massage? And I feel like that's kind of the loophole there because it's
gray.
not, and like I've said the last time I was on here, like not every time was teenagers, not every time was sex crimes with children. He pretty much just had a variety, and once you figured out what you liked, all right, when the next time that guy comes, we're gonna have something special for him.
Mm-hmm.
And some of them look older but are younger, and I feel like just catching them in a compromising permission or position didn't always have to be the most horrible thing like we always think it is. That wasn't it every time.
Mm-hmm.
And if you ever listen to like to Giffrey's, paperwork and her testimony, It seemed like how a normal pimp would find a hoe.
Yeah.
You treat him nice for a little bit. Hey, you're cool with this bet. We'll call you next time. We'll pay you more next time. Just,
Well,
stay in touch.
and dude, with her, I mean, rest in peace, Virginia, because she was like the only one. I'm not saying she wasn't the only one, but she was kind of the loudest about being vocal about like trying to expose everything she could because she was there. And then you look into like Trump saying it's a hoax and this Democrat bullshit and whatever. But literally, everybody bypasses this little thing where she worked at Mar-a-Lago. And
Hmm.
so Trump admits that Jeffrey was trying to steal women from my place, blah, blah, blah. And you're like, what? Okay, so which is it? Is it a fucking hoax? Or
I mean,
was he, you know what I
do you want to
mean?
know
Like,
what I think? What I think the most damning piece of evidence against Trump is, though, is that fucking birthday card, dude. Did you see
yes,
it?
weird, very
No, they
weird.
showed it. They showed it on Rogan, and the first thing he said was, "That kind of looks like a guy's back." No, dude, you know what the fuck it is. Don't play stupid, Rogan. You know exactly what that looks like. And whoever he was talking to was like, "Yeah, it's kind of weird that Trump signed where the bush would be."
Yeah.
So it's like, no, man, don't play that game, Rogan. You know exactly what the fuck that looks like. I'm assuming
Rogan
he
does
just,
that too. I'm not defending him,
you
but he does that
know,
sometimes where he does the Tucker where he'll play dumb and
mm-hmm.
let the other person say it so he doesn't
Yep. So
say
he
it.
doesn't
But
have to
yeah,
say it. Yep.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that card is damning. That's some pretty. It's sketchy. I don't know how I feel about that. Don't get me wrong. I'm not a Trump supporter. I could give a fuck less, but I would like to know if he's implicit in it. I mean, we already know he's a groper. We already know he has been guilty of sexual assault. We know that for a fact. He's
Mhm.
paid people out for out of court settlements. So it's a known fact he's kind of a creep. But I mean, obviously he probably hasn't done that in the last 15 years. But the fact remains is you're still a creep, man. You still fucking did it at some point.
Well, back to why you get put in these. It's there's an old Bill Hicks joke that's talking about every president as they come in basically right into their presidency, they get walked into a room. It's a joke, but Bill Hicks, fucking rest in peace, he was amazing. But he said every president gets walked into a room with all the CIA and the FBI and all the alphabet officials, and they get sat down. There's a TV projector right in front of them, and they just show a different angle of
And
the
JFK's
JFK assassination, and then they turn it off and they go, "Okay, any questions?"
understood,
Yeah,
understood. Everybody, same
and
page, same
and that's
page.
why all these politicians are in power. Like the more you look into it, every one of them has a crazy backstory. They have a different name. They have dual citizenship to fucking Greece or Israel. So like no pedo fucking extradition laws. Like, and you're like, okay, so these motherfuckers got compromised, young, dumb, full of cum, doing dumb shit, probably when they were 22 or something at Yale or Harvard or Stanford. Then they maybe tried to get their shit together, but
Well,
somebody still
it's
had that video. And when you came in office, it's like, you're ours now.
one of the better examples of that is Bill Clinton. When he was in college, he got a sexual assault charge. He became like really buddy buddy with the DNC and like a few other like high powered people. There was somebody, I want to say he was somebody from the Warren Commission who was like, Kennedy, this was an assassination. This wasn't, this was bullshit, deep state stuff, whatever. That guy went on a plane and was never seen again. You know who drove him to the airport that day? Bill
Who?
Clinton.
Oh,
Bill Clinton drove him to the
yeah.
airport that day. That's wild. That shows you right there how deep this shit goes. That shows you just how long they've been doing it. And like, in my opinion, if you're a career politician, which shouldn't exist, you can't not have dirty hands. I don't care who you are. You can't
Yeah.
not have dirty hands.
Did you see? I just watched it last weekend or the weekend before. People can shit on Tom Cruise if they want. I don't give a fuck. This was a badass movie. American Made, the story of Barry Seal. So speaking of Bill
Hmm.
Clinton, like trafficking, coke and shit through fucking Mena, Arkansas, when he was governor, and then Clinton's the one that called the fucking not ATF, but whoever the main like sassy bitch that was trying to take
Yeah.
him down.
Hmm.
She fucking talks to him like, "Oh, let him go," and he goes walking out. He tells everybody, yeah, I was offering every one of you guys Cadillacs to let me out of here. Like I told you I was getting out of here. Like so we know these fucking corrupt politician motherfuckers and nobody knows about really the Mena, Arkansas shit because they think of Clinton of the 90s. It's like your favorite band and you realize they came out a decade before and you're like that's what they sounded like then.
Well, you
Nobody knows
remember,
the Clinton Mena shit because it's fucking Arkansas. Who cares? It was their little stomping ground to do what they want because nobody was paying attention. And then that's how they corrupt all these guys.
you remember that movie Charlie Wilson's War?
Yes, I haven't seen it in a while, but
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
that's like prime example. We have who's that? Bill the other pedo. He left the country with his wife. I don't remember his fucking name.
Bill
But
Gates? Oh
no,
no.
no, he's the Saving Private Ryan. He does
Oh, Tom
Forrest
Hanks?
Gump. Tom Hanks.
Tom
Tom
Hanks,
Hanks.
yeah, yeah.
So it's kind of funny seeing Tom Hanks play Charlie Wilson, who pretty much funded and created Al Qaeda to fight the Russians in Afghanistan.
Hmm.
And they made a movie about it. And at the end of the movie, they talk about Charlie Wilson. And I never knew because I grew up watching Good Morning America. I never knew that Charlie Wilson was the same guy, the same senator.
Uh-huh.
After he got in trouble, he basically got a cushy job with Fox and then just never left the news. It's kind of fucking ridiculous that
Hmm.
you can literally defraud the government and commit treason, high treason, and get a cushy job working for the news.
Yeah. I mean, it's almost how like NFL is. If you're a big enough, scandalous quarterback or linebacker or whatever, some people they go into retirement, they blew all their money, and then they go into debt. Other people, like, fucking Tony Romo or whoever the fuck, they get to go into like continuing their career as an announcer instead now. So they're still in the same world, but they're not the one pulling the strings as much. Meaning, like, yeah, these senators that sometimes you forget they were even politicians. Now you just see them as talking heads on TV. It's
So
interesting. Back to
on
like nobody looks up backstories of people.
Yeah, and on that note, what I find funny with all this UFO stuff that keeps getting released and the hearings that keep getting leaked and whatever the fuck, what I think is really funny is I refuse to trust anybody that has maintained their security clearance. You can't tell me that you're a whistleblower and you're still allowed to work on secret projects. That doesn't add up. That's not a
100%.
thing. You can't do that. All you are is you're a glorified PR rep for the federal government. That's all you are. And now I refuse to believe anything you say because you're just controlled opposition at this point.
Well, and that's where, some people even call me like a flat earther or whatever because I distrust the shit out of everything NASA ever says too, because they forget, like, well, NASA, why would they lie to us? They're a fucking government organization too. So the
Well,
same
they
thing
just
is like when you realize like there was a guy, Don Pettit, who is an ex astronaut, but he's like a head of NASA for a long time. And he says, oh, yeah, we'd go back to the moon in a nanosecond, but we destroyed the technology. It's like, you motherfuckers with this top clearance bullshit, whether you're in Area 51 or Los Alamos or wherever it is, this like I'm with you. Like these guys that say they're whistleblowers, they're still holding back on what they're saying. They're being selective on their words.
well, it's kind of
It's
funny that
interesting
you
timing.
it's funny that we bring up NASA though because they just reclassified NASA. It's no longer going to be a space agency. Now it's going to be a spy agency. So it's like that's an odd direction to move. I mean, we've made further jumps with space travel via the private market than we've seen from NASA in who knows how
Interesting.
long.
Decade 40
But
years. Yeah.
yeah, I will negate the fact when they say that we don't have the technology to go to the moon again, whatever. The only thing I'll negate with that is when they were talking about the Van Allen radiation belt and how it would fry most modern electronics. Yeah, the electronics that we used was tubes back then,
True. Yeah.
and it was so low quality tech that a, we by nowadays standards, we'd say, no, it's not safe. We're not sending people up there with this shit. And
Hmm.
B, everything we use now is too advanced to make it through that. Now, I don't believe that we don't have anything too advanced, less advanced to make it through that. I'm a firm believer in the secret space program. I'm a firm believer that we have breakaway civilizations of the elite. We can talk about that another time, but like,
Yeah, I
I,
believe
you know,
in all the ideas of basically other than what they tell us. That's what I was getting to is the point
yeah,
is like, yeah, like it's just another government organization that's probably fucking lying to you and they make how many billions of dollars a fucking year. Look it up. You're like,
right.
God damn, if like in your point proven, private companies are making more points in space travel or low interdimensional orbit, whatever the fuck they call it. But we're still paying these other companies that aren't doing dick for 40 fucking years. And we're like, well, we're doing science shit. And you're like, okay, well, we're giving you billions of dollars. That's my point. It's just another government organization sucking fucking money and lying to you. But anyways, dude, go wherever you want from here. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think with the whole alien thing, with the 3AI Atlas coming in a couple months here, and with the government having this big meeting of generals and naval personnel, I either one of two things. Either we're going to be coming up against the next 9/11, or we're going to come up against the fake alien invasion, or my favorite is we're in. You ever see Civil War, that movie a couple years back came out?
Yes. Yeah.
We're in that timeline. He's militarizing the country and militarizing DC and fortifying it because he doesn't plan on leaving. He's going to have a third term.
Mm-hmm.
That's my personal theory. That's my personal favorite and the one that I hope for. I hope that he tries for a third term and, we can, unseat the government for what it is and, hopefully try something new.
Yeah,
But
and that's not asking for inciting violence. I'm 1,000% with you because I mean, I don't know. Take it however, it's like examples of resistance or standing up, and that doesn't mean violence. Violence it could you see in movies that's how shit gets done, right? It's been like that for thousands of years, but it's like, man, something nothing's ever gonna change unless something big fucking happens, whatever that may be.
yeah, and it's going to go one of two ways, and with the Republicans and the right wing being in power, and like you keep seeing this paradigm shift in the country, and like so much of it, they're saying, "Oh, America's healing" and stuff like that. No, it's not. It's literally exactly what we've said it was for the whole 4 years of Biden presidency. It was entirely USAID funded. All these NGOs, all these other programs, whatever. If you notice that a lot of these gay pride programs and these pride parade events canceled because of lack of funding.
Hmm.
That's odd. That's odd timing to me. Maybe I'm just seeing connecting dots where they shouldn't be. But when it's USAID ended and stopped funding everything, you stop. Even this past Gay Pride Month, like, not a lot of companies did anything. But last year, every company did it
That's a
because they were
good
getting
point.
kickbacks.
That's a fantastic point, dude. I said the same thing while it was going on. I was like, man, there ain't a whole lot of pride in this fucking month this year. Like
No,
everybody kind of forgot about it. And
it's odd,
whatever, good riddance in a way, because it's just another manufactured bullshit fucking divisive thing to get us all pissed. You're like, God damn it, for 30 fucking days, I gotta be pissed off that these faggots are
right?
everywhere or whatever.
Right,
And that's just another fucking divisive thing. Like, who cares if you're gay? I'm a fucking musician. Rob Halford from Judas Priest, lead singer. He's pretty fucking cool. Like, you know what I mean? Like he's a
right,
pretty cool dude. He doesn't rub his dick in people's faces. Maybe his
right.
husband, but that's another story.
And that's
But
his
my
right, though.
that's his right. I can do that to my wife. He can do that to his
Right.
fucking husband. But my point is, it's just like, yeah, it's manufactured shit to keep us like, where did Pride Month go? And another one, we saw the Charlie Kirk shooting, and that was one day before 9/11. But the irony of the quote always being "never forget," and 9/11 got fucking forgotten, dude. Did you notice that this year?
Well, and I'm probably gonna catch some flack for saying this. I've already caught some flack from other people. I firmly believe that Charlie Kirk was assassinated by the Israeli government, specifically because of the fact that so many people are waking up to the fact that 9/11 was not only an inside job. Israel, the Saudi government, there was a lot of people involved. Did you watch, or have you started watching Tucker Carlson's 9/11 files?
Yep.
Oh
And
my
it's
God,
funny,
it's
his most recent episode, he's got not the 9/11 one, but he just had Charlie Sheen on. And Charlie
yeah.
Sheen and Alex Jones, when Charlie was doing all the tiger blood and all that shit and
Mm-hmm.
everything, he was doing a bunch of fucking testosterone, whatever,
Yep.
is basically what he was saying. He's like, the crack was one thing, yeah, but he was like, I was taking 10 times the amount of testosterone I was supposed to
Yep.
be. So, yeah, he's losing his fucking mind. But anyways, they were trying to get a hold of Obama at that time to declassify, like to do a new investigation into
Yep.
9/11, and they got shot down, of course. And so, yeah, dude, people are waking the fuck up about 9/11 because it just sent
Yeah.
us into 25 years of forever wars on the behalf of Israel.
Yeah, and if you break down that, 7 countries in 7 years document from 97, I
Only
mean,
one left, Iran.
it's insane and it's wild, dude, because it's like you can say this to normal people and they'll just look at you with a blank face. When I do this at work, I go into tangents all the time, and they call it this crazy train and whatever, and like some people enjoy my rants, some people don't. I don't give a fuck. At least you're thinking about it, you know what I
Don't
mean?
change. Yes, yeah.
Yeah, fuck that shit. But I firmly think that the Charlie Kirk thing was specifically because the timing was just impeccable. Because look at we did nothing for 9/11. We had no state thing. There was no event. We had no televised anything. It was very odd that 25 years later we've got nothing.
Yeah, and like I said, the main takeaway we were told for 24 years is never forget. Never forget. That's that programming of like, there's the same quote every time. And we did. We fucking forgot. In less than a quarter of a century, we forgot about something for a day. And that's not to diminish Charlie Kirk, but it's just interesting timing, like you're saying, on man, like Israel does have a major play in 9/11. And then Israel, like, why the fuck did Netanyahu decide in like the 10 days afterward to go on as many panel shows and talk shows and give like, Israel did not kill Charlie Kirk? Like, dude, that's like your wife walking in 20 days in a row saying, I didn't fuck anybody else today, okay? And you're like,
Yeah, I
the
think
more
some
you
of
say
that.
that out loud, the more that gets a little fucking suspicious, dude. Like,
So the day before October 7th, there was hella protests. Half the country hates Netanyahu.
mm-hmm.
And I think Charlie Kirk made a good point. Was there a stand down order on October 7th? Because it took 15 minutes to fly from the main base to the outskirts. So
That
that's not a bad response time, especially if you see the motherfuckers coming in on gliders from 10
gliders,
miles away. Come on, guys. And the fact
it's
that
a
you've got
fucking ninja
CNN
movie.
news,
Yeah,
well, you've got CNN news crews there doing action shots of these guys coming and going and
perfectly
doing their
placed.
business.
Yep.
It's insane that, if questioning that makes me an anti-Semite, which I'm okay with that. I don't give a fuck about a title. I'm brown anyway. What the fuck do I care what they
Call
think?
me all the names. That's what
Yeah,
I
I
say.
don't
I'm
give a
like,
shit.
yeah, sure. Give me all the names, and then you have to actually explain yourself. Like, you can call me your trigger
Yep.
fucking word. Oh, you're a bigot. You're a transphobe. You're a xenophobe. Yes,
Yes.
sure.
What's
I'm
your
all of them.
point?
What's your point?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
And they never have one. They never have one because usually that'll shut people up or shut weak people up. But no, not us. And I think, and getting back to the freedom of speech issue, I think that we're on very dangerous grounds, and I think that people need to take a fucking second, like literally, take a fucking second and think further than your own. Think further than your political beliefs. Think 4 years in the future because this is the last term you'll see Trump. Trump is no longer a factor. And once
yeah.
he got into that office, he's no longer a factor now. You need to stop thinking about the next 2 or 3 years and start thinking about who's in power after the fact. And I've got a nagging suspicion that it's going to be another Obama, not Obama himself, but like, he has never left DC the entire time since he left the presidency. Biden's presidency was Obama's third term. So, I mean,
Yes.
where are we going here? They're laying down the framework and the next presidency is going to take over and it's going to go hard left again and it's not going to be pretty and we're willingly handing the government our rights on a silver fucking platter out of the guise of I don't like him because he's brown, I don't like that guy because he's black and wild, I don't like that motherfucker because he's illegal. It's bullshit. We're fucking Americans. This is America. We need to act like it.
Well, that's interesting too, because not just presidency, but let's say, sorry, I had a burp. Mom Donnie or Mama Baba Daba, whatever the fuck his name is in New York. You know, I'm not saying I agree with anything he's saying because I'm like, okay, this is some fucking socialist communist bullshit that like you implement it now for feelings and emotions, and in 5 years, oh, we're in fucking communism up in New York City. But the funny thing is that everybody attacked him. They said he's an anti-Semite. And do you remember why they said this? Because they asked Cuomo, they asked everybody else.
Yeah, they
And
asked
when
him when
they
their
said,
first trip to Israel was going to be, and he's like, "I'm not. I can deal with the Jews here." He's like, "I don't have any need to go to Israel," which
yeah,
which
he's like,
won
I've
me
got to
over.
deal with my constituents here
Yeah,
potentially, and blah blah blah. And you're like, you know what? Whether the guy a broken clock can be right twice a day, it's like that was the correct fucking answer.
yeah,
Not like, oh, I'm on my plane ride tomorrow night at
yeah.
7 p.m. to go to kiss that goddamn wall. Like
But see, my question is, what does a mayor of New York have to do with Israel?
exactly
That's kind of odd to me, but okay, sure. I mean, yeah,
occupied.
I mean, New York has like a high, a lot of Jews in New York, a lot of
Majority
old
of the
money in New
Jews in the
York.
country are in New York for sure. Yeah.
I mean, that's where all the money in the banks are. So, I mean, it doesn't
Hmm.
surprise me, as
Wall
anti-Semitic
Street.
as that may be to say, but I mean, that's where it is. Like, we got into this conversation last night, me and the missus, and I told her, I was like, it may come off as anti-Semitic, but I mean, the reason they've been kicked out of 109 countries is because it was illegal for Christians to loan money and shit.
Yeah.
And the Jews
Usury.
came in, yeah, usury, that's the one. And they came in, all right, well, we can also charge interest rates against these people because they're not Jewish. So at a certain point, when they would have businesses go under and now they're owned by the bank, now houses go under, now they're owned by the bank, properties go under, they're owned by, you get 2/3 of your country owned by a Jewish conglomerate. Yeah, that's when the
Hmm.
king says, fuck you, get out, give us our shit back. This is ridiculous. This shouldn't have gotten to this point. But here we are. Exactly that's happening in America. You have the average American
Hmm.
citizen that can't afford to get past a paycheck, that can't afford a $300 emergency. It's a little insane to me that we're the number one grossing country on the fucking planet with the most freedom on the fucking planet,
Hmm.
but we can't get by. That's odd, and it comes more than just you like to drink or you like to waste money or whatever the fuck, or you buy Starbucks every day, whatever. It's more than that. That shouldn't be a factor in general.
Hmm.
With the fact that inflation is so high, but our wages have not gone up. Most of these companies aren't even doing cost of living anymore. You get a merit raise of 3%
Yeah.
every year.
I
It's
just
fucking insane. I'm
yeah.
sorry, but that's 30 cents. You're gonna give me 30 cents a
I
year?
just got one. It was more like 60 on cents on my, but yeah. But I won't say too much. But yeah, exactly. It's like you get it when you have some kind of like, like I have a really cool job, but I don't even really disclose that. But I'm saying like
Yeah,
I
yeah.
do maintenance at a big fucking apartment building. They're cool as hell. But yeah, it's a corporate owned entity, so then it's in the corporate style of how raises and things are. And they're like, okay, well, on their business end sense, why would you not do it if you can do it and it's not illegal? Cool, fine. I'm not saying that, but I'm just meaning like when you realize, say like the liberals, everybody wants to scream like we need to raise the minimum wage because yeah, the minimum wage is pretty fucking low, but at the same time, you're like, well, like people don't back to that like we think of 1 or 2 years from now, not 20 years from now. Every
Yep.
time you raise the minimum wage, you're just raising the fucking cost of every other damn thing because everybody's raising that cost as well. And it's like that's not the problem. The problem is that we are taxed to death. We are fucking taxed 40% of our paychecks in some certain states. You're taxed on your car, you're taxed on your gas, you're taxed on, well, you're not taxed on gas, but you're taxed on your cigarettes, you're taxed on your beer, your fucking groceries. You pay your house off, then you're still paying property tax. That is our problem. And I'm not saying like everybody goes back to the argument of like, what about roads? Motherfucker, when you dig into the roads argument, that's actually horseshit too. It's fucking private contracts, subsidy shit. Like it's not your tax dollars every month of 10% of Derek's
Well,
taxes go to building
here's a
construction.
fun retort to the roads argument. I remember a documentary when I was probably 15, so let's say 16, 17 years ago. It was on Discovery Channel called Crumbling America, and it was about the crumbling infrastructure. Now, 15 years ago, probably more at this point, they had said that more than 88% of our bridges in this country would not pass safety inspection. That's fucking insanity. And I don't know
Mm-hmm.
if you like I do this shit where I drive after I saw that documentary, I spend a lot of my life now when I'm driving around and going under bridges, I look at them and I see the
Yeah.
crumbling shit coming off of them. And it's just fucking mind-blowing to me how we've got all this money for DOT and money for transit, but nothing is getting done. Now, when they passed that transportation bill a year or two ago, I think it was one of the last things or first things that either Trump or Biden did, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I within a couple weeks I started to see actual improvement. Now, my question is, and this is just the conspiracy theorist in me, when they're upgrading these main roads, what are they actually doing? They're making it easier for federal forces to come in and out of major cities.
100%, dude. Because
It's
why do they
not, I
only
don't,
focus on some spots?
that's
Yeah.
that's a little odd to me. And then the spots that I've noticed out here that they're working on are the main ingress and egress points in and out of the city. That's a little odd because the only way you would need to reinforce a bridge is if you want tanks to roll over it.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little odd to me, but okay.
Yeah, dude, I don't know where we're going. I feel like there's this manufactured chaos. They want us to react in a weird way. I mean, it's almost like you ever seen the movie Cabin in the Woods?
Oh yeah,
Okay, so it's the choice, right? And they're surveilling the fucking, it's one of the greatest like eye-opening movies of all time because it's like if you like slasher movies and horror movies, you're like, oh, cool, it's Woods and fucking
yeah,
Michael Myers or not, Jason and shit like that style.
yeah,
But if you actually just analyze it and you see the puppeteers, like the stoner guy keeps talking about, the
yep.
shaggy looking dude, you see them showing that there's 20 options on the table. The people, we're not doing it. That's that reaction solution shit I was talking about earlier. It's like we're giving them the choice to how are they going to react to this situation or this situation as we manipulate it behind the strings. And then as soon as they react, everybody's already got like they've already got paperwork on 10 different fucking files on every scenario that could happen. You get what
Well,
I'm
I mean,
saying? Like,
it's their entire job. There's people whose entire job it is to figure out what people are going to do in reaction to what the government is going to do. And there's entire threat assessment people. One of my favorite threat assessments was against the Boogaloo movement. They said that we were one of the greatest threats to democracy, which I love that title. I will gladly wear that title.
right.
But it's kind of funny that, under the Biden administration, white nationalism and right-wing extremism was the focus of the FBI. And while that was going on, you had third world terrorists getting here. You had Chinese nationals coming here. Now you've had all these actual criminals, but you're focused on white nationalists, which I
Mm-hmm.
agree, as a brown man in America, that's kind of an issue, but okay. I mean, they mostly keep to themselves. They're not the ones shooting up places. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And I don't give a fuck about a white nationalist. I mean, you're ignorant. That's your problem. Not mine. What the fuck do I care?
Right. Well, I mean, there's also this weird like self-segregating in a way. I don't know if you've kept up on the Arkansas story. To jump back to Arkansas, actually, weirdly. Um, David, I think his name is David. Arvol, Aarvol, or something like that. He started a
That whites only community.
whites only
Yeah.
community. A lot of people are like up in arms, and he legally is able to do what he's doing. But at the same time, like a lot of people are like, you can't fucking do that. And you're like, I'm not taking over a city block and saying no fucking black people or Mexican people can be here. We
Right. I'm
bought
buying property.
land and property, and we're choosing to self-check out. I don't
Yeah.
see a problem with that because there is a lot of, like black people, Mexican people, Asian people, Jews. I mean, there's tribalism that's allowed for every other group, which is weird, but as soon as a white person does it, it's some fucking like white supremacy shit. And you're like, it's not saying you can't drink from my fucking water fountain. I'm saying I just don't want to be around everybody else. Like, what are your thoughts on
Yeah,
that guy?
and I don't see a problem with that. I think, more power to you. If you got the money for it, you got the skills to pull it off, more power to you. I genuinely could give a fuck. And actually, I hope the best for those kind of people. If you can make your own close-knit community and your own compound and provide the best future for your wife and kids and shit, I mean, more power to you. That is the American dream. So in my opinion, I've got no problem with it. You want to go live with the whites only, have fun, bro, but you ain't getting no tacos. You know what I mean?
Yes, yeah, dude. White people can make tacos, but they ain't Mexican tacos, man.
No, good luck.
Yeah. Well, what are your thoughts on like, okay, so Trump recently brought up the Amish and kind of speaking of like, I guess a whites only community. Um, I don't know if there's a brother Jebediah, but I'm just saying, but like the Amish, like the lack of autism, the lack of obesity, all these things like that, like what are your thoughts on that idea of like self-checking out from the government and everything, whatever race you are, but the idea of like man, for the longest time, people like that were labeled kooks if you're fucking Amish. But then we look back
Well,
now and we're like, everybody in their fucking
I
family is doing great.
I don't understand why it's illegal to be off the grid. I don't understand why you have to have at least one utility. I don't understand why it's illegal for you to buy a property, build a cabin, and just live on it unless you're like in Alaska or some shit.
Bingo.
It's a little baffling, but I think that with I mean honestly I wanted more from RFK Jr. more than just like the red dye 40, which is still hasn't happened.
Yep.
It's kind of odd that we get all these feel good victories and these feel good, startups, but it's like nothing ever comes from it. But I think that's the American way. I think we get excited about things and we get all, gung ho for shit, but we don't follow through. We don't hold our politicians accountable. We don't hold the people that we vote for accountable. And half of them we don't vote for. So in a way, like the most American thing that can possibly happen is the powder keg is going to ignite. And once it does, it's going to swing one of two ways. I mean, granted, our side has more guns, but their side has the entire deep state,
Yeah.
so it's a toss up. It really is. And I think it's, our kids are going to grow up. I mean, Mike's son will probably be the generation that fights this battle. And, the generation after his will be the ones that live with the outcome, whatever that may be.
Well, we'll fight the damn home front, man. I believe a lot of, I mean, I don't know. It's up to us to teach our children of the atrocities of not just that. Well, Dave Smith, dude, I love Dave Smith. He had a quote the other day, and I'm gonna probably butcher it a tiny bit, but he basically said, "The people that always tell you war is hell are usually the ones that are wanting to apparently run fucking right into hell." And you're like, "Yeah, dude, like that sounds kind of fucked up when you say it out loud because you're like, we're we know that war is not good, whether it's just on a moral grounds of like brother shouldn't kill brother and blah blah blah, right? But then you start to see how all these wars, every war, if you just open a history book and even mainstream history books, if you just pay attention instead of just glaze through it like in actual ninth, 10th grade, like we always did and whatever, you'll realize like, wait a minute, this guy's funding this side, and like meaning every war is full of shit. Then we find out the repercussions of what happens afterward, blowback, like Ron Paul talked about. Like, I don't know, man. Like, I feel like Ron Paul is the greatest president we never had.
Yeah,
On
I'll agree
it,
with that.
but a lot of people use the argument of he's not tough enough. but I feel like our toughness, not to sound like a hippie, but I think our toughness kind of fucked up half of the world at the same time, you know?
Yeah, and I see. I'll agree with them that he's not tough enough, but I will secede the point that you can only be so tough. You can only go so far
Right.
with these kind of things without losing your seat to an APAC representative.
What do you think? Speaking of APEC, what do you think of Massey? I don't think
I love
Massey would take a
Massey.
president. I don't think he would take. The thing is like the good guys kind of don't want to be there. They want to help, but they'll never get the fucking job and they'll get
Yep.
their head blown off on live TV. You know, it's
Yeah,
like,
I didn't know who Massey was until about a year ago. I saw him on Tucker Carlson, and yeah, I if there's one politician that I agree with that is not in anybody's pocket, it's Macy. Especially when I think it's funny that Trump called him out, and he's like, he's an enemy of the state for voting against me. You know, go fuck yourself. It's his right to vote against you.
yeah, and then
That's
Mark
how this
Levin
works.
and
It's
all the
democracy,
fucking
bud.
Jews come out against him. And yeah, meanwhile, he's taking literally, he's took $0 from APAC
None. And I
ever.
think any politician that doesn't take money from them, I think is a good politician, except for the ones that don't take money from them and still vote for them. That means you've got some dirt, you've got some skeletons,
Uh-huh.
because there's no other reason for you to support that. And I think it's odd that you do.
There's
But,
an
you know,
irony too. AOC the other day, she's been screaming about like, free Palestine and, fuck Israel and all that forever. But then meanwhile, she just voted like a week or two ago to send more money to Israel. And you're like, oh, so it's WWE. You're just screaming when people are looking. Now it's like put on the show. Meanwhile, the guy you're having a rivalry with, turn the camera off. We're going to go chug some beers, you
well,
know?
there was a UN summit 2 days ago when they were voting on the UN Security Summit, and they're voting on whether to call what's happening in the Gaza Strip you know a genocide, which it is obviously. The only person in the room in the entire UN Security Council that voted against it was us.
Yeah. Was this
Yep.
the one in New York where everybody got up and walked out?
And no, this was before
Did you
that. This
see
was
that
at the
video?
UN. I saw that one. This one,
That
and
was
it's
like,
funny.
oh
Well, the
shit.
best part about it is the our representative that voted against it, being the only person that raised their hand, was also the only person wearing red. Everybody else is wearing black. So
Mm.
it's kind of funny. Like you're the demon in the room. That's what that is. You're the
Hmm.
fucking. You're the cog in the machine there.
Interesting times, man.
Yeah,
I
it's
don't
wild.
know. What would blow everybody's mind if we had like a fucking Thomas Massey and just for kooky craziness, but still sometimes right. Marjorie Taylor Greene. If we had that as our 2028 ticket,
Oh my God, dude.
fuck, dude, could you imagine?
I'm not I never liked Marjorie Taylor Greene. She always struck me as like a drunk. But
Kinda, but they can be truthful.
but she after taking these hard lines about, because I saw her on Tucker Carlson as well, and she was like, "Yeah, when you're a senator, you get invited to go to Israel, and there's all these things, whatever." She's like, my invitation must have got lost in the mail or something because they never approached me." And I started fucking dying. I'm like, "Okay, so you're legit then. You may be a
Right.
drunk, but you're legit, you know?"
That's what I'm saying. A drunk can at least be honest.
Yeah,
They're
no
not holding
shit, dude.
back.
No shit.
Well, SlyFoxx, man, this has been fucking awesome, man. Thanks for doing this. We're gonna do this
Yeah,
again, dude. I like inviting people back. We could talk a million subjects, man, and we did
yeah.
hit a lot of. It's like censorship, what you can talk about, what you can't talk about. Whether you're a citizen, whether you're an elected official, it's interesting. They can't talk about certain subjects either, or they get primaried, they lose funding, and so, anyways, guys, realize not to be too black-pilled, but all of your politicians are bought and fucking sold. They have some skeleton in their closet. They're there for a reason. They got propped up with blackmail, and here they are, smiling pretty faces for you. Maybe not pretty, but they're still there. Anyways, SlyFoxx, any closing words, dude?
Oh no, it's always been a pleasure. Look forward to coming back again. You know, everybody stay chill out there, and just I guess the one last thought I'm going to give everybody is just take a second before you start reacting and going off on these tangents. Just give yourself a second and think about the larger picture. Are you reacting how they want you to, and what are you going to do about it? And I'll leave them with that.
100%, dude. Don't give them what they fucking want. So,
Absolutely.
anyways, man, y'all gonna see this Monday morning. So, SlyFoxx, I'll see you soon, brother, and I'll
Yes,
post
sir.
it on your shit, and we'll spread the word to the retards and the masses. So,
Copy that.
anyways, talking Stitt, we're putting the ass in classy, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace out, bitches.